Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Abdul Ghani, and in this video I will be talking about the success and failure of the Muslim effort in coping with the COVID-19. As the world faces the greatest disruption of our lifetimes, Muslims around the world are also struggling with the repercussions of the coronavirus pandemic. However, the Islamic cultural, spiritual and theological dimensions offer Muslims multiple ways of coping with this COVID-19 problem. The first way is by adapting to new social norms. Muslims have relatively large families and tend to maintain extended family relations. The Quran inspires Muslims to be generous to kin and treat the elderly with compassion. Many Muslims feel conflicted about the need to apply social distancing on one hand and the need to be close to family for comfort. Tighter restrictions on movement in some countries of the world mean Muslims, like everyone else, are not allowed to make visits anymore. One of the first changes brought about by social distancing has been to the Muslim custom of shaking hands, followed by hugging friends and acquaintances, especially in mosques and Muslim organizations. Several weeks after the beginning of COVID-19, the hugging completely stopped, making Muslims feel very sad. Visiting the sick is considered a good deed in Islam. However, in the case of COVID-19, such visits are not possible. Checking up on those who are sick with phone calls and social media is still possible and encouraged. The next effort done by Muslims to cope with COVID-19 is with regard to the cleanliness. One aspect of coronavirus prevention that comes very naturally to Muslims is personal hygiene. Health organizations and experts promote personal hygiene to limit the spread of coronavirus, especially washing hands frequently for at least 20 seconds. Islam has been encouraging personal hygiene for centuries. Additionally, Muslims have to perform a ritual ablution before the 5 daily prayers. While taking ablution does not completely prevent the spread of disease, it certainly helps reduce the risk. The next effort of Muslims is towards the closure of mosques and Friday services. Congregational prayers in mosques are important for Muslims in instilling a sense of being in the presence of the sacred and a sense of being with other believers. Accordingly, they line up in rows with shoulders touching. This arrangement is extremely risky during a pandemic. Majority of the mosques were closed because of coronavirus. Deciding to skip optional daily congregational prayers was not too difficult for Muslims, but stopping Friday prayers has been more challenging. Friday prayer is the only Muslim prayer that has to be performed in a mosque. Stopping Friday prayers on a global scale has not occurred since it was introduced by Prophet Mohamed during his times. Fortunately for Muslims, the closure of mosques does not mean they stop daily prayers altogether. In Islam, individual prayers and worship play a greater role than communal ones. Muslims can pray 5 times a day wherever they are, and often home is a place where most praying takes place. The next effort of Muslims in coping with COVID-19 is headed towards the practice in the months of Ramadan and the annual pilgrimage to Mecca. During Ramadan, the iftar and congregational Tarawih prayers were heavily affected by the COVID-19. Many Islamic authorities have already announced the cancellation of iftar activities. The end of Ramadan festive celebrations, which is Eid, will also be limited to family that live together. The impact on pilgrimage is far greater. In 2020, Saudi Arabia has cancelled the main pilgrimage activity. In the centuries of Islamic history, pilgrimage has not been undertaken several times because of war and roads not being safe. But this is the first time that pilgrimage has been called off due to a pandemic. As pilgrims reserve their spot and pay the full fee months ahead, the cancellation of pilgrimage would result in losses of savings for millions of Muslims and cause massive job losses in the pilgrimage industry. Nonetheless, Muslims will always try their best by following the guidance of Quran and Sunnah in tackling the COVID-19 pandemic. At the end of the day, Allah will show the hikmah of COVID-19 because every phenomenon in this world has been planned by the Almighty. We as humans need to contemplate all the creatures and the nature so that we can strengthen our relationship with Allah. That's all from me, and I hope you guys will get benefits from this video and will share the kindness with other people. With that, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.